Hello my friends, it's Mark from superagates.com. It's a lovely day in November. What better thing to do than to cut rocks? So today I'm going to cut a variety of rocks with the power feed saws. Should be a lot of fun, and I appreciate the fact that you came along to watch. The first victim we're going to do is this piece of Narina jasper. It's got good contrast. We'll put it in our vise. Sort of tighten it up a little bit. Now I always use some of these shims. The ideal size is 15 degrees. What that does is it makes it very sturdy in the vise. You don't want that rock to come loose at all. And so I shim these up and just use something like pine. And it's easy, 15 degrees, that you can cut right through them if it extends through the blade. But it makes life so much easier. You can get much better purchase on the stones so it doesn't come loose. You don't want that coming loose. And we'll line this up. It is solid in the vise. I like to cut so that I have a specimen end and then slabs afterwards. So we'll give that a try. Close our lid here. And away we go. Okay, so we loaded up the 24-inch. Let's do this 18-inch here. And this is a Brazilian agate. We'll see what we got here. Get it started here in the clamping process. Saw's a little dirty. It needs to be cleaned. This is a perfect example of why I use the shims. Because it's a rounded surface, it's really hard to get purchase. But when you use these shims, it gives it an extra layer of steadiness. And I reuse them over and over again. You can see there's some here too. Essentially, it's just to keep that rock from coming loose, because if it comes loose, your saw blade is going to get damaged. So it's solid in the vise. We got it clamped up, solid against the rim of the blade. Loose. Away we go. Here's another 18-inch, and this is going to be a crazy lace that we're going to cut to get that sort of zigzag pattern. So we'll clamp that in here. And as in almost everything, I use shims. 15 degrees. They're easy to make, but if you don't like to make them, I do sell them on my website at superagates.com as well. They're reusable, and you can cut right through them. The blade will cut right through those things. I like to tighten it on very stoutly, because if it comes loose, that blade is expensive, and I don't like to ruin blades. But that's solid. I want to cut it so that I have a specimen, but also in case I can get some slabs. It has to hit solid against the blade. And that looks pretty good. Should be pretty good. And another one ready to go. Okay, so this is a 14-inch saw, and I'm going to cut this piece of chrysocolla that I bought in El Paso. Sometimes they come out really nice, and sometimes not so nice. But whether it's good or it's bad, I'll show you either one. I should say my son will show you either one. And there again, I like a firm cut. Okay. Nice solid against the blade, it's free. Voila. On this saw, we're going to cut some Ethiopian blue agate. So it's a different agate from a different location. So let's see how lucky I am on this one. Actually pretty solid in there. Nice solid connection. We're running the saws. Okay, well let's take a look here. This was the Namibia blue. Well, it doesn't look blue, but it sure is pretty. It's got a blue center. Nice agate from a nice location. I'll take that any day of the week. It doesn't look cracked. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Well, we're 1 for 1. On this one, I'm going to cut a piece of Condor agate from Argentina. Really doesn't show much. This undoubtedly was the bottom, so I think I'll cut right through there. See what we can't get out of this. Actually, it's in there pretty good. Maybe a little bit right here. Yeah, that's perfect. That's in pretty tight, solid. Let's see what we get. Perfect. On we go. Okay, we've got the other 14-inch done with the Chrysocolla. Oh, I'm pretty happy with that. Not cracky. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Beautiful color, lovely color. Happy with that cut. Well, I think I'm going to put in a geode and see what we get out of that. It's round, so I need to shim this up really well. That actually will be pretty good. All right, we're set to go again. Okay, the Narina in the big saw is done. You can see this really needs a cleaning. But boy, it is pretty stuff. Look at that contrasting color in there. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, that is really nice. Narina jasper from Australia. Love cutting that stuff. So here we have a piece of Gary green, mined years ago. Okay. All right, that should be good. Here it is. See how that cuts. And something here. And this saw has the Brazilian agate. Oh, isn't that sweet? You know, Brazilian is such a pretty stone, and it has such a nice yield that it's amazing that more people don't really like Brazilian agates. I guess it's because they're not as uncommon as, say, a Laguna or a really nice condor, but a nice Brazilian is a beautiful stone to behold. I mean, just look at that. That is lovely. And the chances of hitting one of these is fairly high. Brazilian agate. Love to cut them. So now I have a black rock thunder egg from Nevada, and I bought these from a friend of mine who mined these years ago. Really good guy, Steve's his name. And as I understand it, it's not available for mining now, so I'm happy to have these. Always fun to cut something that's different and from a different state or location, and that's pretty nice. So the best one would be if it were center, if the center was hollow with little stalactites, but that's not really what I'm expecting. I'm hoping for a little black agate fortification in there. So we'll give this a try, see how we come out. Another saw's done. This is the crazy lace from Mexico. So let's have a look and see how we came out. Oh my. Well, I sort of like that. Really bizarre pattern. All agate. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Get this out and put them butterflied together. There's nothing like the Mexican agate, and crazy lace is one of the prettiest, I think. Laguna, of course, is much more expensive in Coyamito, but boy, I mean, you have to enjoy cutting stuff like this. I could do that all day long. Crazy lace agate from Mexico. So having said that, I do love a Laguna agate. This one holds promise. It shows a little bit there. Laguna has a way of disappointing, but we will see. Whenever I cut, I always cut a couple Laguna agates because they are the best agate in the world, in my opinion. I'd take them over any other agate. But they are the most expensive and the hardest to get. And the only reason I have these is because I'm old. Make sure we put a lot of shims with this. Get it in there firmly. Tighten it up a bit. Put it into about where we want to cut it. I'm going to cut it about right there. Nice firm. That's beautiful. Okay, we'll see on this one. This is an exciting one. Okay, we got the 14-inch saw. This is a Condor agate from Argentina. And there it is. With Condor, you never know the color and you never know the cracking. And overall, I'd say it's a pretty decent cut. Nice agate, solid agate. Love it. Condor, Argentina. Well, it's time to load up another Laguna. It's solid agate. Agate, 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 agate. Agate all around. It's impossible to miss every clack. But we're going to try to miss a lot of them. And with these stones, I'm certainly not cutting for slabs. With these, I'm cutting for specimens. So it may be that I'll have to recut, but hopefully we'll just get a good result right off the bat. One never does know. That is in there solid. Okay, we'll give it a shot. Okay, this is the geode. So let's have a look at the geode in this 14-inch saw. Well, it's not really a geode, is it? But boy, isn't that attractive. I mean, just look at that butterfly pear. I mean, even a disappointment can be nice. Of course, it comes from Mexico. But, I mean, I'm actually quite happy with that. Since I'm on the Mexico theme, let's cut this Laguna agate. Really doesn't have a way to cut it without hitting problem. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, this Laguna is the stuff that I really like. There are other beautiful agates from Mexico as well. Coyamito, Montezuma. But I have always been one partial to the Laguna agate. Now, a lot of them are no good. But when you do cut a good one, it's something to behold. So let's hope that I get a little luck on this one. At least that it's pretty. Laguna agate, Mexico. Let's go. Okay, so this is a Laguna agate from Mexico. I don't have a lot of high hopes on this nodule, but let's take a look anyway. Well, that is better than I thought it might be. That's a pretty agate. It's not spectacular, but it is pretty. Wipe that mud off. Pretty much have a full pattern. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take that. Laguna agate, Mexico, my favorite. So next, I have a piece of ocean jasper. And let's cut that and see what we might get out of that. I bought this in El Paso. Comes from Madagascar. Years ago it was everywhere, and then they ran out of easy mining. So we'll just see what we get out of this. Hopefully we get something decent. You never know when cutting rock. That's why they call it rough rock. Okay. What we want are a bunch of eyes in this. So leave enough for a slab in case. Okay, let's see what we get on this one. Okay, so this saw has Laguna agate from Mexico. I might explain to you that this is in my highest grade of Laguna that I've saved over the years. I value it very highly, $500 to $600 a pound, but would not sell any of it anyway, because I love agate and want to cut it myself. So you get a 2-pound agate, you got over $1,000 in the cut. It's a gambling game is what it is. So let's see how I came out on this one. Well, it's a nice agate, but it's far from $1,000, that's for sure. So in a way, I lost on this one. Still a nice agate, still had fun cutting it. And I bought it years ago, so the price it cost me was not quite what it would cost today in my mind, but decent agate. Certainly not a top agate. But still, good Laguna agate from Mexico. Had higher hopes with that. Possibly I may cut it again, but when I get a good agate, I usually just polish it as that. Okay, so the next one to go in is a piece of dead camel jasper from Nevada. This is another more difficult rough to get. It's still available, but it's my understanding it's on an air base, and that mining will be ending soon if it hasn't already. And the moment that happens, it becomes unavailable. So we'll cut what I have, see how it comes out, and go from there. Dead camel jasper from Nevada. Nice solid. Didn't really need any shims. Away we go. Well, we have another of the 18-inch saws ready to go, and this had a black rock thunder egg from Nevada. Let's have a look. Well, isn't that a spectacular design? Ideally, this agate would be a much larger design. It's certainly a disappointment, but that's how it goes. Not every cut is a good cut. But black rock thunder egg from Nevada. So we will reload this now. I want to have a little better look at it. We'll reload. We'll reload with a large piece of condor agate. It's a big one. So we will start on this end and see if we get a decent pattern. There's some red there. Actually, it's quite colorful. Makes me wonder. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. Yeah, I think that's good. that one. And this condor, I actually went to Argentina when I was younger. Of course, everything I did was when I was younger. And I had such a good time. And so now, when I haven't sold, I've decided to cut a lot of it. This is in the higher grade, so a more expensive piece of rough as well. Let's hope that we hit another good one. Condor. Okay, so here's another very expensive nodule that I put into the saw. Maybe 1 out of 10 will hit. Let's see what we've done. Oh my God. Whoo! Oh my God, would you look at that? Oh. I guess you could tell I love agate and I love Laguna above all else. Just look at that pair of agates. I see no cracks. It's spectacular. You'd never guess it looking at from the outside. You got this blue, but that's just the edge of the agate. It is a spectacular agate. And maybe 1 out of 10 of the very best grade that I have will hit. So I am exceptionally happy with this stone. This makes my day. And I'm glad you guys were able to see it being cut too. This is how it came out of the saw. Oh my gosh. You can see how it looked ahead of time. It was all agate, but it looked like it would be sort of faded out, and instead it is just spectacular. Oh, Laguna agate, you just can't beat it. Expensive as heck, but when you hit a good one, oh my goodness. So this is Mark from Super Agates. Thank you for looking. Okay, so here we have ocean jasper from Madagascar through El Paso. Well, it's not too bad. It looks like there's some eyes in there, probably a crack, but still an unusual material, harder to get. It works. Ocean jasper, Madagascar. Okay, so let's do this 24-inch. It has some Gary green in it, or what they call freedom jasper now. It's from Nevada. I bought it from a friend who mined it years ago. My saw is so dirty, I can't tell how good it is. Oh goodness, look at the coloration in that. A lot of color. Looks like there's a crack, but boy, that's going to be nice. Nice cutting material. Spectacular cabs in that thing. Gary Green from Nevada. Yeah, it's not going to be a specimen because of the cracking, but I'll slab that up and make some spectacular cabs out of it. Okay, another saw done. This is Dead Camel Jasper from Nevada. Something I bought at Quartzsite a year ago. Oh, isn't that sweet? Isn't that a lovely, lovely look? And the fact that this is not readily and easily attained makes it so much better. That's the way it is with rock, or with anything in life really. But just look at that. Little lightning bolts in there. Oh, thrilled with that result. You know, some are good, some are bad. This is good. Okay, let's open this hood. This is Condor from Argentina. Larger agate, purchased years ago. Oh goodness, look at that. Man, that is colorful for Condor. Oh, wow. That's why I like to cut agate. See the chromatography where the agate banding changes. It is a lovely pair. Appears to be uncracked, but it might be. But a very nice agate nonetheless. Condor agate, Argentina. Just love it.